This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
It's because everyone's talking about this.
Always live, always real, always unpredictable.
I think that's taking it to another level.
Yeah.
Log on and join our live conversation.
He said this as we were coming on TV.
DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Tuesday, July 9th. We are live and we're talking about what you're talking about. And right now I'm here with Erika and Brandon. I'm Jeff. Let's get to it, guys.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That was a good little break.
Good.
All right. Let's get to it now.
Yes.
Good to be back. Are we done chit-chatting? Here we go. Here we go.
Let's go.
All right. Does Julianne Hough have the secret to love? The America's Got Talent judge is celebrating 2 years of marriage with her husband, Brooks, by opening up about their sex life. Let's listen.
I came home one day and I was like, babe, I saw this website. It's called Jaya, and they have these intimate erotic blueprints, and we need to do our test to see what our test is and how we're compatible. So when we took the test, I realized that there were certain things that gave me connection and intimacy that were different than what gave Brooks connection and intimacy.
Is that weird to anybody? I mean, it's okay. I think it's healthy to talk about it, but just a blueprint. What is it? Psychologist?
Erotic blueprint.
Blueprint.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's the part that's tripping me up.
Yep.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have struggled to communicate with what they want and when they want it when it comes to sexual intimacy. And so I think this is a really great way for people who are maybe lost in communication or don't know how to articulate what it is that they really want. Because you have to remember, your sexual template is formed between the ages of 5 and 8 years old. And it's also the time that shame is formed. So especially for women, not being able to own your sexuality, you repress things, and therefore you may not know what it is that you want. So having something like this as an aid to normalize, I think is really important, and I think they'll have a healthier relationship.
Erika, I am so glad you broke it down like that, because you broke it down in a scientific method using all those big words. What I heard just now is she's a freak, and she doesn't know how to tell the husband that she's a freak. So they're going to get their erotic blueprint to have some words to say, safe words and all that stuff. But I don't know her, but it sounds like she's a freak, and she wants to tell the husband she's a freak. Let's meet at the blueprint. And then
it's interesting that you wouldn't want to do something like this when you so desperately need it.
Wow.
To be honest about it, if that's what you got from that conversation, then you probably need a professional.
I don't need a erotic blueprint. I can just tell someone, hey, this is what I like. Hey, what would you like? And so I can reciprocate that thing. I don't need that. But being that I research who this woman is and where she comes from, her background, like you say, in your scientific way, though, your sexual preference comes from when you're 5 and 6 years old, and the Y chromosome hits the X chromosome.
Okay.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I simplified it to people out there.
You made it very simple, but you didn't simplify it, because what it comes down to is you're saying that you're able to communicate with your sexual partners. Seeing as how there's more than one, then I can see, and that's the priority.
That's cool.
Well, no, that's
cool.
the priority. But when you are in a relationship and you're married to someone, the priorities are different, and therefore you may not lead with your sexual template. You may lead with something that's more substantial and emotional.
I missed you guys.
I'm just saying.
She missed me a lot.
I'm simply saying that if you're out to have sex, you're going to find somebody who wants the same type of sex.
That's exactly right. I think you're both right.
Communication.
It is all about communication.
Hold on.
Whew. I like it.
Cheers.
I like it. Two cuties. Bless you. We're doing a show over here. Let's get moving. Tonight, I'm going to get fired up about this one. Tonight, Jason Momoa is getting body shamed. That's right. If you don't know who Jason Momoa is, there he is. The super ripped guy who plays Aquaman is getting called out online for having a dad bod, and it's all over this photo. Paparazzi snapped this while he was on vacation with his wife. Now people are coming for him because he's not buff enough, I guess. One comment reads, "This is what it looks like when he lets himself go." But it's not all negative. People are coming to Jason's defense too. One user tweets, "How is this a dad bod? Dads wish they have that bod." And being a dad, I agree with the second viewer, second tweet.
I'm not a dad, but if that's a dad bod, hey, daddy. 'Cause-
That's incredible that they would call that a dad bod.
All right.
How are we going to let that go? If I say something and, oh, you've got multiple sexual partners, she's over here thirsting and no, y'all over here laughing. Like, what? It's a double standard.
It's not a
just
double
like bodies
standard.
are double standards.
It's not a double standard. See, I was saying what everybody else was thinking. You were just spewing nonsense.
No, that was that point. There is no such thing as a mom bod, right? If you said that, I'd be working in Australia. I would be banished.
No, I know what you mean.
And I
Is
probably wouldn't
Australia
be-
a bad place to be?
Well, they used to send prisoners there, but I guess not anymore.
No, but I understand what you're talking about. And we're talking about Aquaman here. Probably had to train, go through some rigorous diet and training regimen. Then when you're not shooting the show, you want to let yourself go a little bit, just like when we did the 10-day challenge. Did you still work out as hard and
No,
keep up with your
absolutely
diet?
not.
Me either. So, I mean, that's goals for me right now.
Yeah, he looks fantastic. And by the way, I think in Aquaman he has fins and stuff too. So
Yeah.
he doesn't have those. I think there's some CGI going on in there
I think
too.
he's going to be okay.
I think he's going to be all right. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to move on to something a little more serious here. Comedian Aziz Ansari is talking about the sexual misconduct allegations he faced last year in a new Netflix special. Let's get up to Raquel Villanueva with news at the moment.
That's right, Jeff. Aziz Ansari gets serious in his Netflix special. In the first few minutes of the show, he talks about being accused of sexual misconduct by a woman he went on a date with and how it has changed him and those around him.
I always think about a conversation I had with one of my friends where he was like, you know what, man? That whole thing made me think about every date I've ever been on. And I thought, wow, well, that's pretty incredible. If it's made not just me, but other people be more thoughtful, then that's a good thing.
Last year, a woman who called herself Grace said Aziz did not pick up on her cues that she didn't want to get physical after their date and felt like she was assaulted. Aziz went on to say he feels terrible she felt that way about him and is working on becoming a better person.
Thanks, Raquel. I'm glad he's talking about it. I'm glad he's addressing it because I think he got caught up. We were talking earlier about this. The whole Me Too movement kind of came out, and he was one, I think, that really didn't deserve that. Just in my,
I would agree with
my
that.
point of view.
Yeah, and like we joke around, we laugh about my dating life and stuff. But what he said just now, how he was saying he was talking to his friend, and it made him stop and rethink of every situation you've been in during all this time. I know by no means do I want to go out like that, from any sort of accusation or anything. But you do sit back and you think about these things, and going forward, you make sure that you have your ducks in a row with everything. So I mean, it is what it is. He's moving on. I'm glad he's going to getting his career back after this. So.
I think he's going to more than get his career back because it's interesting that he got caught up in this in the middle of a very much hookup culture. I mean, people have bad dates because they aren't dates.
Yeah. Right.
So when you're talking about it like this, I think that this will be a major comeback for him, and I will be cheering.
Yeah, and he's not making jokes about it. He's being serious,
Right.
so I applaud him for that. All right, guys, tonight, Serena Williams is opening up about her own struggles with mental health. Check her out on the cover of Harper's Bazaar. Just so you guys know, it's not retouched or Photoshop at all. Serena says she started seeing a therapist after the controversy at last year's U.S. Open. You guys remember what happened during the finals match against Naomi Osaka. She received 3 code violations that she thought were overly harsh and sexist. Now she's opening up saying she couldn't find peace after the incident and she, quote, couldn't shake the feeling that this was about so much more than just me.
Good for her. I think, Serena is very much someone who understands who she is. And when you are a woman who understands who you are, then people want you to apologize for it. So I understand why she was so adamant about what she was saying, and I think that she was right. But the way that sometimes you can be right and go about it the wrong way, and I think she's a person who needs to be released. And if that means that you have to atone for what you did, then that's your release.
And I love the way you just put that. And yesterday, remember we were talking about Coco Gauff, and we were talking about how you were saying how Serena is so transparent. And I was saying, I feel as though right now, after reading that article was to Coco Gauff, because it's kind of like a rite of passage. I'm passing the torch. This is some of the things that going forward, because of your skin color, because of your hair, you're young, and you're going to be successful. These are some of the things that you're going to have to go through, and this is some of the things you're going to have to do to check yourself and bring yourself back to remember who you really are in this game, in this world. So reading that, I think Coco Gauff should definitely read that going forward, because I mean, I see Serena as like a big sister in this moment.
And it's not just all about her athletic ability, it's also about her mind and how that works. And I think that's super powerful, especially as I'm getting older and the body starts going a little bit and your mind is what stays strong. So I think it's a good message. All right, guys, tonight we have new details on the Game of Thrones prequel. Let's get over to Stephanie Jones. She has the details coming in hot.
That's right, Jeff. Executive producer George R.R. Martin is giving us all the details on the pilot. So for starters, we've heard it will take place 5,000 years before what happened in Game of Thrones. He says Westeros is divided into about 100 kingdoms. I mean, that's a lot more than the 7 kingdoms that us guys are used to. And the pack survives. George says that the Starks will be there along with the White Walkers and direwolves, but there are not going to be any Lannisters because the prequel is before the rise of that family. George says it's an ensemble story, and HBO has hinted at a trio of female leads: Naomi Watts, Naomi Ackie, and Denise Gough. They're all filming the pilot right now in Northern Ireland, and there's no word on when it's going to come out, but I know I cannot wait.
Are you excited a prequel's coming out now, Erika?
I can hardly contain myself. I got.
But now,
you did.
We just saw that there's going to be a black female lead as a trio of one of the characters. Now, would that make you want to watch it a little bit more?
I support Sister Girl. Do your thing. I just can't get into Game of Thrones.
Still, nothing's bringing Erika around.
Oh, man.
It's too much TV. I don't know how I feel. How do you feel about it? I loved it so much that now I feel like they're trying to do a little bit too much.
No, I think you could do a lot with this story, just because since it takes place so far back, you can do a lot with the plot. You can twist things, and you can kind of tease what people think, because we think we know what it's going to be from episode 1 of Game of Thrones, but just think of the entire world, the seasons that they can have leading up to it. White Walkers, direwolves, we didn't see much of that, so hopefully it's White Walker and direwolf heavy, along with a lot more fighting and stuff like that, because season 8 wasn't so great.
Erika's excited.
I'm with that Johnny White Walker.
DVL's Live will bring you breaking entertainment news as soon as it happens. And coming up, Mariah Carey shares how many lovers she's had, but does the number of partners really matter? We want your DBL take. And some of the summer's hottest movies are out, but are these blockbusters worth a trip to the theater? We'll tell you a little later on in the show. So, do we have...
Yes, we have comments.
We do?
Yeah.
Jay Santori, Erika is on point. Cheryl Hanna, oh please, it's probably a Photoshop. What was that one?
Jason Momoa.
Oh, Jason Momoa,
No,
yeah.
that's not Photoshop. That's...
Wait, which one? The one
the dad bod.
Photoshopped in a good way? What do you mean?
I guess so.
I thought it looked natural to me.
Looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it looked
like,
natural to me.
I'm gonna go downstairs, look in the mirror. Like,
Jay Santori wrote in again, to have a dad bod like that is good. I'm with you, Jay. If I look like that, I'd be doing the show with no shirt on.
Someone called me a freak.
Isaac Beggs, DBL, this is my heart threads right there. Which one was that, you think?
DBL, that is my heart threads right there.
I like Cheryl Hanna. Wow, Brandon, you walked right into that.
No, I did not.
Brandon, like, purchases his pass, his ticket to walk right into situations.
That was, I mean, I loved what you said, but some of our DBL Nation wasn't going to follow all that. So I had to break it down.
No, it's very simple.
All you had to do was say it's all about communication. You want to do it, do it over the bed, do it over the bed. You want to do it in the bathroom,
It's not all
do it in the
about,
bathroom.
that wasn't my point.
Oh, yeah,
You
I got
missed
it.
my point. The point
Here we go
wasn't that
again.
it's all about communication. It's about the failure to be able to articulate what you want. That's not something that's just going to happen. Sometimes people need help and professional assistance with that.
So do you think that because, like I said, because she grew up Mormon or whatever, and maybe she wasn't allowed to talk about and express her sexual feelings and things, so you think that having a coach or a doctor come in and help them have this blueprint
Yeah,
can help
I think
that sort of couple out.
Absolutely, absolutely, especially in a situation where you're coming up in a very sexually conservative environment. You're also told that women are to submit to men. Like a lot of things that messages that we get are very unhealthy. They need to be.
Welcome back to DBL. Mariah Carey is spilling the tea about how many lovers she's had, and the singer says she can count them on one hand. That's 5 to be exact, and it's no coincidence because she's only been romantically linked to that many men. Her first husband, of course, Tommy Mottola, and then an alleged relationship with Eminem, ex-husband Nick Cannon, and the father of her twins, her billionaire ex, James Packer, and backup dancer Brian Tanaka. She says it's quite the variety, and this makes her, quote, a prude. I'm not sure about that. So DBL Nation, does the amount of people you've been with matter when you're dating or in a relationship? Let's kick it off, B.
This is going to get interesting. Connie from Facebook says experience can be a big plus. However, completely inexperienced can be a big problem. I mean, I agree. At this age, 34 years old, I don't think you look at numbers. I think you look at connection and who it is that you're going to fall in love with. Yes, I've had partners, but you're looking for the one partner I can be with for the rest of my life.
Well, Brian from Facebook says, depends on the number. I am sure no one would be okay with triple or quadruple digits. Brian, I don't necessarily think that a number matters at a certain stage in life. I think that it comes down to communication and the sexual health of the relationship. Ultimately, I think it's just important for any time you're in a monogamous relationship or you're ready to settle down and make that commitment, I would just suggest a STD test.
Yeah, I think that's important to mention that.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, Linda from Facebook says, we all have a past, but that should not define us when it comes to having a loving relationship. We all have made bad choices, and we can change if we truly want to. Linda, that's beautiful. I believe in that too, but I don't know if I could handle somebody who slept with half of my high school or whatever, half the team, whatever team you want. I'm just not with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like some people dig that. You know, the more experience, the better. For me, it turned me off a little bit. But it is, I do have to say, it is a double standard for men and women.
Wait, so do you share numbers?
No. You don't share numbers.
I don't see any point in sharing a number.
No, because you're going to lie anyway.
Well, I think that's the reason why. I think realistically, I don't feel that way because I think regardless of the situation, you're asking the person in front of you to lie to you.
Right.
Like you're asking them to lie to you.
And in a secret way, you don't even want to know anyway.
Right.
You say, I just want to know for me. No, you don't. This is going to be a huge fight.
Yeah. Agree.
I'm not that interested.
Good thing my number is 1. Me and my wife. I love you.
Let's go. Kevin from Facebook says, not at all. Not to what Jeff just said, but he's saying, not at all. That's their past. They lived life and had fun, but they settled down with me. I agree. I've been through this maturation because back in the day, when I was young playing the NFL, if you find out that a woman hooked up with someone, you automatically turns you off and you're like, no, I don't want her. She's been
That's
with
not
that guy.
true.
That player. In terms of relationship.
We all know the good girls list.
In terms of relationship.
We all know.
Relationship. But now, like I said, it's about, like, you've tested the water, you've seen what's out there, but you know what you don't want. So now it's about bettering yourself and trying to get to the person you do want. So if you're man enough or woman enough to excuse a past, then mazel tov. I hope you get married and live forever.
I would also suggest getting a yearly STD test.
Yearly?
Regardless.
Monthly?
Well, I'm married.
Oh, you're married. Yeah.
But every year, I think women should get an STD test. Every year.
Interesting. All right, stick around for the biggest summer blockbusters. A movie expert reviews the latest Spider-Man film. You don't want to miss it. It's next.
What's up, Beauty Blasters? I'm Jeray for The Slay, and today we're talking about skin that slays. Now, with this new segment, I'm gonna be chatting up you guys about skincare products that I love and ways you can be treating your skin at home too for that flawless Hollywood look. Now, for today's Skin That Slays, we're going to be talking about exfoliation. What is it? Why should you do it? And where can you do it at? I got all the answers for you guys here. So, number one, what's exfoliating? Exfoliating is going to be the maneuver of helping to go ahead and remove dead skin cells or excess dirt or grime from the skin for that smooth, beautiful, radiant skin. Now, what this also does is help to make sure that any texture or any dark spots or anything like that are helping to be diminished slightly so that newer, fresher skin is coming up to the top. Now, what kind of exfoliators are there? There's two main types of exfoliators. The first one is an enzymatic exfoliator. Now, this guy is going to be more of a chemical reaction exfoliant. You're using two different ingredients or a couple different ingredients sometimes and rubbing it on the skin in a circular motion and typically either peeling or maybe even a little bit of like a slight burning, nothing crazy, may happen to go ahead and remove that dead skin. One of my favorites for this is Peter Thomas Roth Firmex peeling exfoliating gel. This guy is amazing and it's wonderful for sensitive skin. Now, most people who have sensitive skin, rosacea, anything like that, you want to lean more towards an enzymatic exfoliator for a more gentle approach. Now, the second type is more of a physical exfoliator. These guys are going to be exfoliants that you can truly feel on the skin, or a gommage if you may. So some of these guys will be like mini round spheres or sometimes even crushed walnut like Aveeno. Oh, it wasn't one of my favorites, guys, and it actually started my skincare journey. So you guys have to check out your exfoliators and let me know which one's your favorite. Only do it 2 to 3 times a day and make.
Welcome back to DBL. Some of the summer's most anticipated movies are premiering this month. But if you're like me, finding time to get to a theatre can be a challenge. Entertainment correspondent Maud Garrett is here to help us out. She teamed up with Tubi, a streaming service, to give us a preview of Spider-Man Far From Home, one of the summer's biggest blockbusters. But is it worth a trip to the theatre? I'll let you guys decide.
Thanks, guys. Yes, July has so many amazing movies coming and I cannot wait to talk about them. We all know Spider-Man Far From Home, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That movie only came out July 2nd of this month and already it's blitzed over $650 million at the box office.
Awesome!
People are loving this flick and you can see why. I mean, it's off the back of Endgame. And then with Far From Home, you see Peter Parker go from being an Avenger saving the world to being a high school kid again, where he just wants to tell his crush that, you know, he has feelings for her while being on an excursion in Europe. And then you enter Mysterio, Jake Gyllenhaal, one of his best roles to date, guys. I am telling you, he feels so comfortable in this role and it's worth watching for him alone. Love that movie. And if you two are into the, the superhero movies and you love seeing someone save the day, my recommendation that you can watch for free on Tubi.tv has to be World Trade Center. I mean, yes, it's a devastating event that took place, but seeing Nicolas Cage in 2006 as a fireman with a moustache save the day, that in itself is so worth it. And I think the rating has about 90% positive from Google users. So everyone else is loving that movie too. Daily Blast Live, back to you.
We'll be right back.
I am Patty Donnelly, and I am the Senior Supervising Producer at Daily Blast Live. I manage the show and the staff, and I oversee creative and help pick the stories. And I also help by just using my past experience to better produce pieces and content on the show. A typical day at DBL for me starts at 6:30 in the morning, and that is super early. So it generally starts with me hitting snooze 4 times and then going to Starbucks and then rolling in at 6:30 on the dot. Whew, it's hard. And in the morning when we come in is my first meeting of the day. It's at 6:30 and it's the creative content meeting, and it's with just 4 other producers and then Chris Clark, the executive producer of the show, and myself. And basically we hear what stories are going on, what has been happening overnight, what the news is, and we start planning the show and what we're gonna put in it and what stories we care about. It's actually my favorite time of the day. It's really fun and it's my favorite thing ever, which kind of sucks that it's like in the morning because after that, then there's nothing to look forward to, but I love that meeting. Since it's such a small group, we laugh a lot and tell a lot of jokes and just come up with some really great ideas because of it, and it's really awesome. What I like best about working at DBL as opposed to other shows is that we have a really cool culture here, and it is a lot different from when I worked in LA, meaning we put the show above, you know, we care about the show, we want the show to do well, but we don't put it above ourselves. And that's something that a lot of times in LA, you sacrifice a lot to make sure the show is awesome. And here we, I think, almost have our priorities in balance a little more, and we laugh a little bit more because of it.
Welcome back to DBL. Brandon and Erika have been going at it all show. No surprise there. So we're going to settle this debate right now. Go to dblvote.com and weigh in. Tell us who's on your side, or who do you want? Who do you pick? You guys have 15 seconds to talk about sexual blueprints.
Okay. Okay.
Go for
let's
it.
Start?
Yeah.
Okay. Your sexual blueprint is very important because it's never a bad idea to have communication when it comes to your sex life. This is a safe space in order to say what you want to say, although other times you're not able to articulate it. Never a bad idea.
All right, Brandon, close it up. 10
Your
seconds.
sexual blueprint is this. If you're a freak, tell your partner you're a freak. Communication is there. If you want it in the shower, in the bathroom, in the kitchen, tell your partner. All 51% of divorce. Oh, man, I messed up. Erika won.
56% voting for. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.